Anheuser-Busch has long touted itself as the king of beers, and you could say they're back on top. The company is claiming bragging rights in the beer business as its popular Michelob Ultra is now #1 in sales in America.
Your beer should mean relaxation, not hidden risks. But some bottles hide glass fragments, farm chemicals, or quality so inconsistent you're gambling every time you crack one open. The scary part? These aren't no-name brands. They're the ones you see everywhere, stacked in every store, marketed as premium or craft. And most drinkers have no idea. For people with digestive issues, anyone on blood thinners, or parents with kids nearby, one invisible problem can turn a quiet night into something serious. Today, 7 beer brands to avoid. Stick around till the end because we'll show you exactly how to choose one that's actually safe. Coming in at #1, Michelob Ultra. Sleek can, fitness ads, zero flavor inside. For years, Michelob Ultra has looked like the healthy choice. Silver packaging, active lifestyles in every commercial. A beer designed to make you feel lighter before you even open it. But pop the tab and the truth hits fast. For years, drinkers have reported the same thing. Bland, metallic, hollow. It doesn't taste like beer. It tastes like the idea of beer. Raise the can, and there's almost no aroma. Maybe a faint cereal trace that vanishes instantly. The first sip is ice cold, and that's the point. The chill hides what's missing. Once it warms even slightly, the truth shows up. Thin mouthfeel like mineral water. Flavor that breaks apart before it forms. A metallic flicker at the back of your tongue. The finish is so short and empty it feels like the beer never arrived. Have you noticed that metallic aftertaste? Did you think it was just you? Online threads repeat the same phrases thousands of times. No flavor, like sparkling water with a metal spoon. Engineered, not brewed. It used to taste better. Meanwhile, real low-calorie beers manage to keep grain warmth and hop character. They have aroma. They have body. They don't disappear on contact. Here's the trade-off Michelob won't tell you. To hit calorie targets, they stripped out everything that makes beer beer. Overfiltration removes aroma compounds. Industrial speed flattens the rest. Clean became code for empty. Picture a guy grabbing his usual Ultra after work, cracks it open. First sip, nothing. Second sip, still nothing. By the third, he pauses, stares at the can, shakes it like the flavor might be hiding, takes another drink, metallic edge again. He mutters, "What happened to you?" and puts it back in the fridge half full. Sound familiar? The company's response? Keep running those fitness ads. Keep pushing the lifestyle. Never address why longtime drinkers are walking away. A beer built on health claims should honor taste, not erase it. Drop a comment with the beer you're drinking right now. Let's see how many show up on this list. Have you ever quit an Ultra halfway through because it wasn't worth finishing? If bland metallic beer wasn't bad enough, wait until you see what temperature gimmicks are hiding. 2. Coors Light. The 70% cover-up hiding in plain sight. Let's talk about what Coors Light actually discovered in their own labs and why they'll never tell you about it. Taste studies show beer served below 35 degrees Fahrenheit masks up to 70% of off flavors that become obvious at 45 degrees Fahrenheit. Read that again, 70%. That means when you crack open an ice-cold Coors Light, 7 out of 10 flavor defects disappear under the chill. Coors knows this. They've built their entire brand around it. When your marketing campaign is "the mountains turn blue when it's cold enough," you're not celebrating quality. You're covering up what happens when the beer isn't cold anymore. The Blue Mountains aren't a feature. They're a warning label that says, "Drink this before you taste what's really inside." For years, customer complaints have followed the same pattern. It tastes fine when it's freezing, but once it warms up even slightly, it gets metallic and sour. That's not random. That's the 70% mask falling off. Here's what actually changed at Coors. Large-scale aluminum suppliers don't produce perfect can linings every time. Some batches react differently under pressure, leaching metallic residue into the beer. When those cans spread nationwide, defects become inconsistent across regions. One 6-pack tastes fine, the next tastes like battery acid. And because Coors overfilters to hit that world's most refreshing image, there's barely any malt character left to hide the flaws. The beer is so stripped down that the moment it rises above ice cold, every defect, metallic notes, liner residue, uneven filtration, shows up immediately. Do this test yourself. Buy a Coors Light. Pour half into a glass and let it sit for 10 minutes while you drink the other half straight from the ice-cold can. The difference will shock you. The cold one tastes like water. The warm one tastes like something went wrong in production. That's not beer. That's temperature-dependent quality control. The economics explain everything. When you're producing hundreds of millions of cans and your entire value proposition is coldness, speed matters more than flavor. Brewing cycles tighten. Filtration gets pushed harder. Small defects that used to get caught, They slip through because nobody's optimizing for taste. They're optimizing for the moment the mountains turn blue. Coors' response? Launch new frost-activated packaging. Run more commercials with icy mountains. Double down on the cold. Never ever address why the beer that built a reputation on consistency now changes flavor the moment it warms past freezing. The mountains still turn blue. But what's inside has been engineered to hide behind temperature for years. Your fix: pour it into a glass and let it sit for 5 minutes before drinking. If it tastes worse warm, that's your answer. Real beer improves as it opens up. Coors Light collapses. Would you still buy it if you had to drink it at 50 degrees Fahrenheit like every other beer in history? Next up, a green bottle hiding a problem. American drinkers taste every time, but European drinkers never do. 3. Heineken. European prestige versus American reality. Open a Heineken in Amsterdam and then open one in Ohio. They don't taste the same. And that's not your imagination, it's two different products wearing the same label. For years, American drinkers have complained about sulfur-like skunky batches, the kind of sharp, rubbery smell that hits you the second the cap comes off. Meanwhile, Europeans describe the same brand as clean, malty, and balanced. So what's the difference? Start with the bottle. That iconic green glass looks premium, but it's terrible at protecting beer. UV light passes straight through and breaks down hop compounds into the exact chemical that creates skunk spray. Brown bottles block UV, cans block everything. Green bottles, they're basically transparent to the wavelengths that ruin beer. Now, add America's distribution problem. Heineken's US supply relies on multiple contract breweries spread across regions, each with different equipment, water profiles, and freshness windows. A beer brewed in one state can taste noticeably different from one brewed 2 states over. And because retail shelves are drenched in fluorescent light from every angle, even properly brewed batches degrade before they reach your fridge. For people with sensitive stomachs or digestive issues, light-damaged beer isn't just unpleasant. It can trigger nausea, bloating, and sharp stomach pain. Those degraded hop compounds that create the skunky smell also irritate the gut lining. If you've ever felt queasy after a Heineken but couldn't figure out why, that's likely the cause. The result? Inconsistency at scale. Some six-packs taste fine. Others taste like they sat under a heat lamp for weeks. Reddit threads are filled with people asking the same thing. Why does Heineken taste better in Europe? Because in Europe, it's brewed closer to where it's sold, stored better, and moved faster. Here's the part Heineken won't say out loud. They know the green bottle is a problem. They've known for decades, but they won't change it because the bottle is the brand. The shape, the color, the red star, that's what people recognize. So they keep using packaging that sabotages their own product, then rely on cold temperatures and fast turnover to hide the damage. And when turnover isn't fast, when a case sits in a warehouse or on a brightly lit shelf for a few extra weeks, that's when American drinkers crack open a bottle and wonder why it smells like a wet rubber tire. The company's response? Keep selling the European image while delivering an American reality. Keep the green bottle. Keep the prestige marketing. Never admit that what you're drinking in the US is a compromised version of what the brand actually tastes like. Premium bottle. Budget protection. Have you ever noticed Heineken tastes better on vacation than it does at home? Now you know why. Your fix. Choose brown or amber bottles over green. Check pack dates. Fresher is safer. Store beer in a cool, dark place, never near windows or under lights. Next, a dark beer with an invisible danger that has nothing to do with what's inside and everything to do with what's holding it. 4. Newcastle Brown Ale. The danger you'd never see coming. Picture this. Friday night, you grab a Newcastle from the fridge, pop the cap, pour it into a glass. The dark amber liquid swirls. Foam rises, bubbles dance. You take a sip, and somewhere in that sip, a fragment of glass smaller than a grain of rice slides past your tongue. You don't feel it. You don't taste it. The beer is dark enough that you'd never see it, even if you held the glass up to the light. It's already in your throat before you realize anything happened. That's not a horror story. That's what happened to batches of Newcastle Brown Ale. In early 2025, internal safety checks found certain production runs could shed small glass fragments into the beer. Not visible chunks, not obvious breaks. Microfractures in the bottle that released tiny, razor-sharp pieces directly into the liquid. And here's the part that should terrify you. This wasn't caught by customer complaints. It was found during a routine factory inspection, which means if they hadn't been looking, those bottles would have kept moving. Into stores, into homes, into glasses, into throats. For anyone on blood thinners, warfarin, aspirin, Plavix, a glass fragment cutting your throat or stomach lining can turn catastrophic. Your blood won't clot. What should be a minor scratch becomes internal bleeding. For parents drinking near kids, one shattered bottle on the counter spreads invisible shards across every surface. Small hands touch. The recall notice went out. Batch codes were listed. Consumers were told to check and return matching bottles. But here's the question nobody wants to ask. How many people actually check batch codes? How many drinkers saw the recall notice before they finished the six-pack? One buyer in the recall region said he'd already gone through 3 bottles before a friend sent him the alert. He checked the remaining ones under bright light, poured them slowly, inspected every drop, didn't see anything, but the thought never left him. The flaw was invisible, and that made it real. This wasn't a brewing failure. The beer itself was fine. The problem was the container, the one part we never question because we assume it's always safe. Newcastle's recall was limited. The issue was corrected, but the lesson stands. Sometimes the danger isn't what's inside the bottle, it's the bottle itself. The beer was fine. The bottle was deadly. Have you ever poured a dark beer and wondered what you couldn't see? If this is already making you rethink what's in your fridge, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We expose what's really in your glass every week so you never drink blind again. Up next, a craft brand that built its reputation on care, until scale forced a recall that shook that image to the core. Cinco, Sierra Nevada. Craft standards betrayed by scale. Sierra Nevada has always been untouchable. Copper kettles, slow brewing, controlled fermentation, the kind of brewery people point to when they want proof that real beer still exists. So how does a brand known for discipline end up recalling bottles across 36 states for glass risks? In January 2017, Sierra Nevada issued a recall for select 12-ounce bottles from its Mills River, North Carolina facility. Internal checks showed certain batches could shed small pieces of glass. Not a single plant fluke, not a small regional issue. 36 states. This is where the craft beer myth cracks. We imagine small batches, careful hands, brewers who taste every run. And maybe that was true once, but Sierra Nevada isn't small anymore. It's a national operation fighting for shelf space against corporate giants. And when a craft brand scales to meet national demand, the pressure doesn't just hit the brewery, it hits every supplier in the chain. Glass plants that used to run steady cycles now push kilns hotter and longer to keep pace. Machines that once tolerated short pauses lose those breaks as orders stack. A minor defect, a thin seam, a stressed ridge, a weak bottle heel, can slip through when production speeds up and inspection windows shrink. Then those bottles travel across states, rattle through trucks, and reach filling lines operating under their own time pressure. Cold beer meets warm glass, pressure shifts, weak points flex, and even the best quality control teams strain when the clock tightens. For seniors with brittle bones or anyone recovering from surgery, a glass fragment isn't just painful. It can mean another trip to the ER, another round of scans, another delay in healing. For families with young kids, one shard on the kitchen floor becomes a hazard that lingers for days no matter how carefully you sweep. This wasn't carelessness, it was the invisible cost of scale. Sierra Nevada's QC is stronger than most. But even strong systems buckle when volume demands speed and suppliers face the same deadlines the brewery does. As food safety expert Dr. Benjamin Chapman puts it, in any high-volume beverage chain, one weak supplier can undo 10 strong steps. The recall went out. The issue was corrected. But the image of craft certainty? Shakier than it looks. Here's the truth. No brewery, not even the careful ones, is immune when national presence requires speed over everything else. Quality isn't a single decision. It's a chain of hundreds, and every link has to hold. Did you think craft beer was immune to these problems? It's not. Next up, a brand that carried 20 years of trust until one supplier mistake undid all of it in a single recall. 6. Samuel Adams. 20 years of trust, one supplier mistake. I drank Sam Adams for 20 years because I trusted it. Now I don't know what's inside the bottle anymore. That's not anger. That's not outrage. That's the quiet, sinking feeling of realizing the beer you counted on may not have been as steady as you believed. For decades, Samuel Adams earned trust the honest way. Before craft beer became trendy, before supermarkets overflowed with new labels, this was the brand people reached for when they wanted something better than basic lager. It promised clean recipes. It promised consistency. It felt dependable. Many drinkers made it their default. The beer for family gatherings, long weekends, backyard breaks after mowing the lawn. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't exotic. It simply felt reliable. Then the company announced a recall tied to a defective glass supplier. The issue wasn't the brewing, not the hops, yeast, or grain. It was the bottle. Certain 12-ounce bottles were found to have micro defects that could break off under pressure, sending small pieces into the drink without warning. And just like that, the image of the trustworthy all-American craft pioneer went from reassuring to uncertain. For longtime buyers, the emotional impact ran deeper than the technical flaw. A defect in the liquid is one thing. People can accept a bad batch, but a defect in the container? That's a different violation. It raises questions about how long the problem existed, how many bottles moved through shelves unnoticed, and whether small signs were brushed aside for years. Picture one of those drinkers, middle-aged guy, home after a long shift, opens the fridge, grabs the same Sam Adams he's bought for 2 decades, doesn't think twice, pours it into a glass, sits in his worn-out chair, lets the familiar taste settle in. But a few minutes later, tightness spreads across his stomach, a feeling he's noticed on and off for months but never examined. Maybe stress, maybe age, maybe he drank too fast. He never once thought the bottle itself could be part of the problem. Only after hearing about the recall does everything replay in his mind with new weight. This is what brands rarely see, but consumers feel deeply. When trust shakes, it doesn't explode like a scandal. It spreads slowly, like doubt creeping into routine. You start looking at the bottle a second longer, checking the cap, the neck, the label code, wondering if the thing you thought was safe might have been silently changing. And once that feeling sets in, loyalty doesn't disappear. It erodes. The systemic reality makes it worse. Samuel Adams is no longer regional craft. It's a national engine. Volume matters. Glass plants supply multiple regions at once. One defect can travel through warehouses, trucks, and stores long before the brewery realizes anything's wrong. That's the cost of scale. The further a brand reaches, the more it depends on long chains of partners, and every link introduces risk. 20 years of loyalty. One bottle destroyed it. Have you ever questioned a brand you trusted for years after one mistake? That doubt doesn't just go away. Next, the worst offender on this list, a beer hiding 2 problems at once and neither one is on the label. 7. Corona Extra. Premium price, double threat. Corona Extra costs you $10 to $12 for a 6-pack. Compare that to domestic lagers at $6 to $8. You're paying 40% more. That's the deal. You pay import prices for that clear bottle, that image of beaches and lime wedges, that feeling of something lighter and cleaner. But let's talk about what you're actually paying for. In multiple recall events, Corona batches were flagged for small glass particles, not a one-time issue. Multiple instances where the clear bottle, the signature feature that's supposed to show purity, became the container that hid fragments you'd never see until they were in your mouth. That's problem 1. Problem 2. Independent consumer testing found trace levels of glyphosate in sampled batches. That's the same farm chemical used heavily in grain production. The herbicide at the center of thousands of cancer lawsuits. The levels weren't high enough to break regulatory limits, but they shattered the illusion that a light, mild beer automatically means a safe one. So let's do the math. You're paying $10 plus for a 6-pack that's had glass contamination issues and carries traces of a chemical you wouldn't want in your drinking water. A comparable domestic lager without recalls? $7. Where exactly are you getting value? For people with autoimmune conditions or anyone undergoing cancer treatment, glyphosate exposure, even in trace amounts, directly contradicts what doctors recommend. For families with young kids whose bodies can't process toxins as efficiently as adults, those trace levels accumulate faster than they metabolize. Here's the other cost nobody talks about. Corona's clear bottle leaves the beer completely exposed to light. UV rays break down hop compounds and create off flavors and chemical reactions that can irritate sensitive stomachs. So even when the beer isn't contaminated, the packaging itself degrades what's inside faster than brown bottles or cans ever would. You're paying 40% more for worse protection. Corona's marketing leans hard on simplicity. Beaches, bright skies, a quiet moment. But the reality is complicated. Clear glass damages the beer. Grain treated with herbicides introduces residue. Recalls tied to glass particles prove even the container is a risk. The company's response? Keep selling the image. Keep charging the premium. Never address why independent testing keeps finding what shouldn't be there. You paid for the beach. You got the chemicals. Premium pricing should buy you premium quality and safety. With Corona, you're paying more and getting less of both. Have you ever paid $10 for a Corona 6-pack thinking you were choosing something better? What were you actually buying? Your fix. Skip clear bottles entirely. Compare prices. If you're paying 40% more, make sure you're getting 40% better quality. Read ingredient lists. If glyphosate concerns you, choose organic certified beers. After 7 troubled brands, one truth rises to the surface. Good beer isn't an accident. It follows patterns. Quiet, consistent, reliable patterns. And once you recognize them, you'll never pick a bottle the same way again. Every disappointing beer we covered failed in predictable ways. Light damage, stripped formulas, sloppy filtration, unstable storage, shortcuts hidden under premium marketing. But here's the secret. Those same patterns flipped around are exactly what point you toward beers worth drinking. Start with the packaging. Glass bottles aren't equal. Brown and amber bottles protect beer from light. keeping hops from breaking into that sulfur-like skunk smell. Green and clear bottles offer almost no defense. Cans are even better, blocking every ray of light and keeping flavor intact. If you see beer stored under bright store lamps or near windows, skip it. Light doesn't care what brand it hits, it just ruins flavor. Good beer depends on darkness. Check freshness. Real breweries print pack dates because they want you to know how close the beer is to its best moment. Poor quality brands rely on vague best before stamps or coded numbers you can't decipher. Simple rule: most lagers and ales taste best within 3 to 4 months of packaging. Once you know this window, you stop guessing. You stop reaching for dusty six-packs with faded labels. Read the ingredients like a human, not a chemist. Real beer needs 4 things: water, barley or wheat, hops, and yeast. When you start seeing natural flavor, corn syrup blend, or adjunct grains, you're staring at shortcuts. They lower cost, but they also lower flavor. If the ingredient list feels like it belongs on a snack package, put it back. Good beer doesn't hide behind vocabulary. Trust your senses, but learn what good signs feel like. Good beer has an aroma that exists and lasts. It doesn't vanish the moment the chill fades. The texture isn't watery or metallic. Bitterness settles instead of jabbing your tongue. The finish feels clean and whole, not chemical or hollow. Those are clues you can rely on even before you know the brewery story. Price doesn't always mean quality. We saw this with Corona, premium import pricing for glass contamination and chemical residue. Meanwhile, some mid-range craft lagers made in brown bottles with fresh dates offer better flavor and safety for $7 a six-pack. Pay attention to what you're actually buying, not just what the marketing promises. Once you put this together, something shifts. You stop drinking out of habit. You stop choosing based on what your friends grab or what commercial you saw last. You start choosing based on honesty, the kind you can smell, sip, and feel. Good beer isn't necessarily fancy, rare, or expensive. It's transparent. It respects the drinker enough to protect the process from grain to glass. And when you know what to look for, you're not just avoiding the bad ones anymore. You're choosing flavor, craft, and truth every single time. Have you been choosing beer based on the label or the actual quality inside? What will you check first next time you're in the aisle? And there you have it. From hollow marketing to hidden glass fragments, from premium pricing hiding farm chemicals to craft standards cracking under pressure, we've pulled back the curtain on what's really in some of the most recognized beer brands. The truth is, not all beer is created equal. Some bottles look premium on the outside, but behind that label lies inconsistent quality, contamination risks, and shortcuts that put your health and your wallet at risk. The good news? Now you know what to look for. Brown or amber bottles, fresh dates, simple ingredients, brands that protect their beer from grain to glass instead of just protecting their image. Your beer choice doesn't have to be a gamble. It can be informed, intentional, safe. Drop a comment with the worst beer experience you've ever had. What brand let you down? Share this video with someone who needs to see it. And subscribe so you never miss another breakdown that helps you choose smarter. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp, stay informed, and choose your beer like it matters, because it does.